So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth rack. Sorry, I can't count. This is 7th rack. Cauldron. And then finally, the last rack to last cauldron. Now, here's a pro tip. Now, sometimes these might glitch, so I probably should have done this first, but I'm just going to put 1 coca leaf in each rack. And just to double check, I didn't screw this up. I'm going to reassign all of those handlers again. It only takes 2 seconds. I'm going to pick up the lamp, put the lamp in front of the cauldron that I want to assign to, go back to my first handler, close out, add new from, we can remember 1 pretty easily. 1. Take out the lamp, put it on 2, go back and repeat the process. Okay, so now we're 100% sure that every handler is assigned 1 rack to 1 cauldron. What we're going to do is we're going to... we don't. Sleeping. Okay, so we should wake up to these doors opening. 1 handler coming in, picking up a coca leaf from his shelf. So that's going to be the middle shelf, and the first shelf, taking it to a cauldron. And placing it like so. Great. Now, if we had 20 coca leaves, that would start production. But we don't, so let's go get coca leaves. Look at our beautiful shelves, all filled up with coca leaves. With a whole new section planting, just going to chuck them into the back of the van. Like so. Drive the van to the barn, and then load up your shelves. Then you're going to want to pay your chemists. Mind you, don't fill all of the briefcases up with full money, because a lot of these chemists, a lot of the time this factory stays dormant. So I was wondering why these chemists aren't getting to work, because their cauldron hasn't received coca leaves yet. So 1 by 1, each cauldron should start turning on, and it really is a beautiful sight. So we see every cauldron has been turned on except for this cauldron here. So we can see, we'll find out who this is assigned to. Looks like a guy with short hair. So this is why he hasn't started. We need to assign him a bed. The bed that we stole before and didn't reassign to him. So he hasn't been paid to work today. Assigned. He should come in and turn this far left cauldron on. It really is a beautiful sight. Now, we're not done yet. We're going to assign each one of these lab ovens to a storage shelf. So this is a pretty easy process. We're going to do it in the same order that we did. 1, 2. 1, 2, 2. 2, 3, 2, 3, and so forth. Okay, so they're all assigned to a shelf. This is not super critical. So we can wait, but you know what? I will wait. I'll clear the existing shelves, put the existing product into the back of the vans, and we're going to wait for these cauldrons to cycle into lab ovens, and lab ovens cycle into the shelves. So we just got some dings. Chemists are starting to walk in. They're going to take the finished product from the cauldrons. So here she goes. She grabbed it from the cauldron. She's taken it over to the lab oven, which is her lab oven. She's then going to put it straight in. Cooking. So we had John Davis and Nick Brown crossed over here. He came up, put his product in, walked away. Nick came out, put his product in, walked away. And then they switched ovens and put each other's products, which is accept, just assign them to their corresponding lab ovens. But now we have all lab ovens on and cooking. So wait till they go to the shelves. Correction, now we have them all cooking. We can tell by the green lights. Perfect. Ding. Oh, couple dings. Ding over here. There's going to be a ding there. She comes in, breaks up the product, grabs it, transport it to the shelf. And that is good enough for me. So then we would wait for the shelves to fill up, grab the shelves, put it in the back of the van, and then drive to the bungalow. Welcome to the third and final stage of the setup process for the automatic cycle. Using all three properties. So we're going to need for this setup is going to need 2 mixing stations, 2 brick presses, a packing station if you so desire. You're going to need at least 13 shelves set up like I have. So we have gone from the corner of the room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in. And of course 1, 2, 3, 4 this corner of the room as well. Going to want at least 5 beds. We've got a bit more than 5 in here, but that's fine. Spread out. And then for employees, you're going to want 1, 2, 3 handlers and 1 chemist. Okay, so we're going to put down the mixing stations like so, and the brick presses like so. Okay, and then this process is pretty straightforward. So over here, we're going to want your mixers. So your mixers of choice, for me, that is the horse juice and the blue pill. Okay, so we're going to want 3 shelves completely stacked with your mixers, and of course we've just got some packaging for our packaging station that we're going to put here. So that's just if you need it for whatever state of the game you are. And then of course you're going to want a shelf here and a shelf here. These are going to be the end locations for your bricks. So let's get straight into it. So we want to assign the chemist to the 2 mixing stations, and we of course want to assign them a bed, and that is done. The main course of this operation is going to be run by our handlers. So let's take some time and get this done properly. So for the furthest right handler, we're going to assign her the first route. We're going to select the furthest right mixing station, and we're going to assign it to this mixing station. So the furthest right mixing shelf and assign it to this mixing station. Okay, and then we want to go back to her, assign her a new source, and we're going to go the furthest right shelf on this and assign it to the mixing station as well. And then finally, we want to assign the mixing station to the furthest right brick press. Okay, and when we repeat the process, so we're going to go back to her, and we're going to add another. We want to add the second shelf in, and then we want to assign it to the mixing station. And we want to add the third shelf in, and assign it to the mixing station. Okay, so when that shelf runs out of product, she'll move on to the next shelf, and when that shelf runs out of product, she'll move on to the next shelf. Says you're having to restock all the time. Okay, now for the next employee, we want to do roughly the same. We're going to go back here for your second mixer and assign it to the second. Okay, and then we want to assign the second shelf to the mixer, and then from the mixer to the left press, and then of course the last 2 mixing stations to mixing rack. Donezo. Okay, and then we want to move to our last handler and assign the 2 product stations that we haven't assigned to mixing station to the mixing station, different mixing stations for this one. Now, because these 2 employees are going to be very busy, we're going to assign Timothy to the brick presses. And then finally, we're going to assign Timothy from our right brick press to this shelf here, and from our left brick press to this shelf here. And that should be the process complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill up, put cash in. What's the time? 9 o'clock. So she's going to grab. He's going to grab. Everything should start to go in its place. There goes the mixer. There goes some product. There goes the mixer. There goes the product. Camps is going to come in, turn on mixing station. So the reason why we didn't assign these destinations, these mixing stations to destinations such as the brick press, is because we want the chemist to be bouncing back and forth between these two. If we can let the handlers do it, because that's their job, that's a lot better. Saves time from her walking all the way over there and back again, because it takes her quite some time to turn these mixing stations on. So once that goes down, the handler's going to come back in, put it back on the shelves, fill it up with the same type of mixer, and this should go down in just a second. There it goes. Handler's going to come in, grab it from the shelf, put it on the mixing station. Other handler's going to come in, stock up the shelf, and there we go. It's ready to be instantly put back down again. 14 seconds left. Bing! Handler's going to come in, take it from the shelf to the brick press. Chemist comes back out, turns it back on. See how we saved a little bit of time there? He's going to come in, turn on the brick press. Ding. Handler's going to come back in, take it from the shelf, and you guess it, put it into the brick press. He's going to move straight over. Brick is going to get pressed. Mixer's going to go back on, followed by the product. There goes the 2 bricks. He's going to grab the brick, put it on the shelf, walk over, grab the other brick. Oh, someone's going to grab this brick. I'm not sure what his priority of actions are. I guess that's probably the right priority of actions. Then he's going to come grab this brick. And finally, put it into the shelf. There you have it. A fully operational mixing station brick processing plant. And that completes the circuit. Thank you so much for watching. This video took a very long time to make. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Hopefully this helps you finish the final circuit of the game. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Links down in the description. Thanks. That's it. So the keen eye observer will be like, okay, you didn't explain the last botanist. I said I'll explain it then, so let's start. Okay, so the reason why you might want an extra botanist is because each of these individual employees has an extra 2 slots, okay? And because we're using fertilizer, it means that we're producing premium quality. Oh, now we're just producing standard quality because I assume we've run out of fertilizer for some of these plant pots. So this is why we would use drying racks. So what you could do with the extra employee, instead of assigning these straight to shelves, you could assign them straight to your drying racks, and you could set the target quality to gold or even leave it on purple. So that means instead of accidentally producing standard quality coca leaves, if you don't fill up your shelves or your supply stations, it'll go straight to the drying racks and it will stay there and dry until you reach the target quality of purple, which is needed for the uptown standards of high and also the suburbia standards of high. So when you're in suburbia and uptown, the quality of your product has to be purple, which is these purple cocoa leaves. So if you don't fill up your shelves, you're going to get blue sometimes. So if you want to walk away and not worry about it and just have purple the whole time, or even gold, there is no added benefit of having gold. You can have gold if you want. Then instead of routing your plant pots to your 8 drying racks, route your plant pots to, instead of having these to your shelves, route them to your drying racks, and then have your drying racks routed to your shelves. And in order to do that, you're going to need to use the last 2 slots of each botanist, and then also assign this botanist to manage 12 drying racks. So you could have 2 plant pots per drying racks. We have 24, or if you wanted 8 drying racks, you could have 3 drying racks assigned to 8 drying racks assigned to 3 plant pots, etc., etc., and then have your destinations set to your shelves, okay? And that is going to produce you only purple or gold, depending on what you set your quality to. So that is why we have an extra botanist. But if you don't feel the need to do that, then walk up to him and just walk up to Scott or whatever his name is. Services are no longer required, and off he goes. So that's why we use drying racks. Okay, again, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully that explains drying racks for you.